Not like flat screen like now. Back then, the old TVs where you got the television tube, big giant tube, and got tubes in the TVs and all that. My dad used to fix TVs. My dad taught electronics at Mumford High School.
Oh, wow.
In Detroit.
Okay.
For years. And so he taught me about electronics just as a kid, just watching them. And so I would help him, fix things, the TVs, whatever. So because I had some knowledge, I knew, okay, well, I can actually modify these speakers and make them better. So I would take the 8-inch cone out, woofer out, cut a slightly bigger hole in the box. It's not, it's just big enough. I put a 12-inch woofer in instead of the 8-inch. So I'm modifying my own speakers to get them to. So I'm taking my modified speakers, my little tables, everything. I do Mike Muirhead's 8th grade party. And that's really when it all happened, because that was the first time that my peers actually saw what I was doing in the basement. Well, I grew up in Detroit, and then from the age of 10 on, my family moved to Southfield, which is a suburb, but just north of Detroit, just outside of Detroit. So when I was going to Southfield High School and discovered that one of the elective classes available was WSHJ radio, and it was a fully operating, licensed radio station, FM, 30 watts, I think, 30 watts. So that meant broadcast power, 30 watts broadcast power. So that meant everyone in Southfield, parts of Detroit, could hear the station, and it was on the dial at 88.3 FM. Okay. So it was low end on the dial. So I took it as a class initially, learning how radio works. And as part of the curriculum in the class, they said, well, if you want, you can develop your own radio show. I picked it up at Buy Right Music on, 7 Mile and Livernois, whatever. I got this record from Chauncey's, 6 Mile. And from me doing that, I would get discounts. I would go into Buy Right, and because I was shouting Buy Right out on the radio, they would give me a little discount, maybe like $5 off. Yeah. Same with Chauncey's. They give me a little discount or whatever. But what I discovered is that I thought the station was only reaching parts of Detroit. I found out that even people in Windsor, Ontario, which for those who don't understand the geography of the Detroit area, Detroit and Windsor, Ontario, which is Canada, is separated by the Detroit River. You can literally take the Ambassador Bridge or the tunnel underneath the Detroit River, or the bridge over the Detroit River, to get to Windsor. So really, for like growing up in Detroit, it was like a normal thing for any of us to travel, as you know, over to Windsor.
So your reach is further than what you think.
So my reach is further, a lot beyond what I thought. I mean, I'm starting to get call-ins from West Bloomfield, from Dearborn. These are all suburbs of the Detroit area, and I'm starting to get all these call-ins, and people calling into the show saying, "Yeah, I'm listening," or whatever. Chi-Chi's, for those didn't know, it was like a little Mexican restaurant. I worked at a couple other restaurants, so I had these little jobs in high school. I'm making 100, 125, maybe 150 if I had good tips a week.